And so I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. I'm not up here to do that. Trust me. Although you probably might have heard something in what I've already said, and I've said nothing. I've said nothing to that end. But what I will say today is what I'm considering when I make the choice, what I'm thinking of when I pull the lever, what's on my checklist when I go to vote. And I offer this not to tell you who to vote for, but to give you a template of some things to consider when making your decision. Whose decision is it? Yours. Number one, vet the candidates. Vet the candidates. What did I say? What did their taxes look like? We ought to demand to see it because it'll tell us a lot about their character, about who they are. What are their qualifications? The spiritually righteous often say, God doesn't call the qualified, but qualifies the called. Then what qualities did God qualify you with? Don't back off on that one. Show me something. A skill set. Something. Anything that is useful in the position that you're running for. Celebrity is not a skill set. Number two, know the platforms. What did I say? A party platform is a set of principles, goals, and strategies designed to address pressing political issues. Each party's platform is broken down into planks or declarations that speak to each specific issue. Party platforms and their planks are very important to the electoral process. They give the candidates a clear political position with which they can campaign. And they give the voters a sense of what the candidates really believe in, the issues they think that are important, and how, if elected, they will address them. And if there are no platforms, then there are no plans. And that ought to be a red flag. Next, ask for the plan. Being mad because your eggs went up $1.15 is no reason to vote for someone. If you're going to vote for someone, ask them for the plan. How are you going to lower eggs back down to 58 cents? What's your plan? Don't make an emotional decision because your eggs went up or anything else. Let them give you a plan. I remember My first car. Loved that car. It was a Subaru XT. You don't see them anymore. It was sporty. It was quick. And no one else had one. There were only 3 in Michigan at the time, and I got one of them. And I was in college at the time. I was a senior in college, so I knew, when I stepped out of that car, I was big man on campus. They said, "What's that, man?" I said, "Oh, that's my car." I'm from Detroit. Cars are a thing. And then one night, I was speeding home and came across a little slippery curve. And I have no idea why I did not spin out. But I went up on the curb, and it damaged the wheel bearing in my driver's side front wheel. Got it fixed. Speeding along, and then just a couple of weeks later, I kept hearing scratch, 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 scratch. I was like, what's wrong with it? Now, the car was still moving. It was still going. I said, okay, I'll take it back. Took it back, got it fixed. 2 weeks later, scratch, 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 scratch. You know, that kind of hurts the profile, you know. The car is slick, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, but you don't want to come up on somebody going scratch, 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 scratch. Took it back, got it fixed. 2 weeks later, scratch, 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 scratch. And I started getting angry. I got emotional. I was like, I'm spending all this money for this car. Actually, my dad bought it for me. But that was the attitude I took. And it keeps going, skinch, 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 skinch. And I made an emotional decision. I said, I can't live with this. And I took the car to the first car dealership that I came across at that moment. And I traded the car in, and I bought a new one. It was a burgundy Cutlass Supreme. Hey! That I could not afford. It finally all worked out when I took that car back. But because I made an emotional decision, I actually nearly found myself in deeper waters had I not had a moment of clarity that, hey, I really can't afford this thing. That's what I'm talking about. Come up with a plan. I could have easily have come up with a plan to resolve that. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. Okay, obviously they can't fix it here. Let me go to another dealership and see if they have something that can be helpful to this. Let's get to the bottom of what's going on. Let's get to the root of the problem here and see if we can't fix this little scunch, 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 scunch that's happening in my wheelbarrow. And then maybe things can go moving in the right direction from here on out. I wasn't patient with myself. I wonder how patient we are coming out of the pandemic. Or are we just in a hurry to try to get everything on the right track right away when all of this didn't happen overnight? But whatever you decide, don't make an emotional decision, and don't let anybody coax you into one. Come up with a plan. Ask them for the plan. Is this helping anybody? Yes. And speaking of coaxing people into a decision, rather than knowing what people stand against, determine what they stand for. That's a simple one. Because oftentimes when people are trying to get you to stand against something with them, they're manipulating you to make that emotional determination, that emotional decision. Be clear of mind and ask them to be clear about what it is that they are really for, not what they're against. Next, verify claims. Verify them. There's a lot of proposals that are on the ballot, yes? Proposal A, Proposal E, Proposal 22, Proposal 27, Proposal 58, lots of them. And what's so interesting is that whether you're for them or against them, they all claim things that are so far apart, you're wondering if it's the same proposal. Verify the claims. Take the time. Next, and this is most important, vote your values. If you don't have any values, if you think you don't have any values, I'm here to tell you that you do. Just take the time to figure out what's important to you, what matters to you, what you hold with value. And if you still can't figure it out, then just look on the wall, because we got some values here. We call them core values. That's how we feel about it. And ask yourself if the candidates that you are considering match your values. Our values here is the value of love. Our core value says we express unconditional love and inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everyone. You're probably saying, okay, Rev, I hear that, but how do I figure that out when I'm looking at and considering a candidate? Well, let me break it down for you. What is love? Love is a unifier. Love is a harmonizer. Does your candidate fit that description? Love functions as kindness, goodwill, cooperation, collaboration, respect, and justice. Justice is what love looks like in public. Now take all of those things that come together, that express itself as love. You get that? Do you see love in kindness? Do you see love in goodwill? Do you see love in cooperation with one another? Do you see love in collaborations? Yes. Do you see love in respect for one another? Do you see love in justice? Yes. But if that's not what is reciprocated when discussing difficult issues, ask the question, does this reflect my values? And it'll be clear to you. If love functions as cooperation and collaboration, then what's with the obstruction? Wait a minute. We voted all public servants in to get something done, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. And if we don't see that, then that should be a flag for us. that seems so foreign right now. I remember a time in my 59 years of being on the planet when that still happened. It didn't matter if you were Republican or Democrat, you still found ways to meet in the middle of the aisle. For the sake of the people you serve. But that's the core value of love. What about inclusiveness? Do I have to go through that one? Embracing all people as expressions of God. Is your candidate doing that? I hope so. Because one day it might be you on the outside looking in. Hold it. I'm not done. I asked if I could take my time. I'm taking my time. Is that all right? Abundance. We know that God is our source and celebrate the unlimited possibilities in every moment. Is your candidate still talking about the possibilities? Is your candidate casting a vision of the possibilities for all of America? Or are they operating in lack and limitation and fear? And getting you to join them in it. Joy is a core value here. We live from a positive view of the world, and we celebrate life. Is your candidate showing joy or snarling? Peace is a core value here. We affirm that peace prevails on earth and in all situations. Is your candidate moving in peace, moving toward peace, calling for peace, showing and exercising love for the sake of peace? Excellence, striving to provide the highest service to God and all humanity. We give our very best in everything we do. Has your candidate showed excellence? Not just in their campaign, but in their lives. We have a decision to make. But guess what? That's the good news. We have the decision to make. Don't let anyone take that decision from you. Muster the courage to get past any intimidation, to get past any manipulation, to get past any fear, get past any threat. Find the courage to vote. Last story, and then you can start the music. I've been so blessed with two beautiful children, and then I got two more in my life now, and then a host of grandsons and granddaughters that it's just been amazing. I feel like Abraham. But one of the greatest experiences of my life was taking Deja and Davon to the voting poll. I think about all the struggles that many of my ancestors had to deal with just so that I can have that privilege. I heard stories, poll taxes, other obstructions to voting. And it wasn't that long ago. And so I didn't care how long that line was on that day when I took Deja and Davon to watch Daddy vote. And they were kids. So you can imagine they weren't very patient. But I made a few facial expressions and they quickly understood. Listen, maybe you have those stories as well in your history as a black man, as a black woman, as a woman, as a BTQ person. As an immigrant. As an ex-offender. Whatever your situation is, my message today is, let's not take it for granted that democracy is going to be here forever. And let's gather around each other and encourage one another to stand up even in the face of challenges and difficulties. And vote. You don't have to go far. They'll be here until November 8th. My call to action is that we all take time. You have time. You don't have to go rushing out to them right now. But if you don't know what you don't know, if you're not sure that you're registered, if you have questions around and surrounding your privilege to vote, they're there to answer that for you. They're an all-in-one place, one-stop shop. You can give them their name. You can explain your situation to them, and they'll do all that they can to help you. And then before you go rushing in to check off candidates, put it into prayer. Get clear about what this means. Do your homework. And make a choice that you can be proud of, that's filled with integrity, that reflects who you are as a child of God. Can't wait to vote. I want to thank you for allowing me the time to speak this truth. And please forgive me if I took too much time or it's something that you didn't come here to hear. But I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to sleep good tonight. I think you will too. The moment you vote. In the name, the nature, the consciousness, and the conviction of Christ Jesus. So it is, so we are. Amen.